The forbidden memory. The warning sign flashed red against the laboratory wall, chronastic field unstable, do not activate. Dr. Mia Vortex crumpled the notice and tossed it toward the recycling bin. It missed, rolling under her desk like so many rules she'd ignored over the years. Her fingers flew across the holographic keyboard, bypassing security protocols faster than the lab's systems could track. Behind her hung a diploma from the Galactic Institute of Xenobiology, a reminder of all the rules she'd learned just to break them more efficiently. The final message from her supervisor blinked insistently: Project Starbird terminated. All research materials to be incinerated. Dr. Pendlewick had added a personal note: Mia, let this one go. Some things are better left forgotten. She dismissed the message with a swipe, leaving blue static in the air. Her heart hammered as adrenaline mixed with the triple-shot espresso she'd consumed 20 minutes earlier. Today was the day. 20 years of planning, of working through the scientific community, gaining access to restricted technology, all for this moment. Mia had been 8 years old when she first created Glimmer. The memory washed over her like warm honey. In her parents' basement laboratory, while they attended an interplanetary conference, she had borrowed their equipment. The musty smell of old journals, the gentle hum of machines, the fruity scent of her cherry popsicle dripping as she nervously adjusted the final genetic sequence. The soft pip as the incubation chamber completed its cycle. Then Glimmer emerged, no larger than a kitten, scales shimmering blue-green, tiny pink spines quivering along its back. The coolness of those scales against her palm, its rapid heartbeat synchronized with her own. "We're going to be best friends forever," she had whispered, pressing her nose against Glimmer's snout, feeling the gentle warmth of its breath, minty like wintergreen. 3 days later, the Galactic Wildlife Commission arrived. Officer Blort, unpleasant even then with his twitching antennae and 3 eyes that never blinked in unison. Unauthorized genetic experimentation. Class 7 violation. The specimen will be relocated. They took Glimmer away in a containment unit designed for creatures 10 times its size. Her parents were fined half a year's salary, and 8-year-old Mia made a promise to herself, tasting salt tears and metallic determination: someday, somehow, she would find Glimmer again. Now, 20 years later, staring at surveillance footage from Preservation Habitat Epsilon 9, that promise was about to be fulfilled. The creature on her screen was no longer kitten-sized, but she recognized those intelligent amber eyes, the crystalline spines, the cautious movements. One wing appeared damaged. Glimmer had tried to escape. The Habitat's report confirmed her fears: wing damage sustained during attempted escape. Medical intervention scheduled. Mia's throat tightened. After all these years, perhaps their connection still existed. She closed the surveillance window and activated her main project, the chronastic particle accelerator that most scientists deemed impossible and dangerous enough to tear a hole in reality. She'd built it anyway, piece by piece, using increasingly creative paperwork to requisition parts. The cylindrical chamber hummed softly in her lab center, its surface etched with equations and calibration markers. All she needed were the exact coordinates for Glimmer's location, and the accelerator would create a bridge through spacetime itself. The breach. Warning messages flooded Mia's terminal from across the galaxy. "Absolutely do not proceed," screamed the Arcturian Science Directorate, complete with an animation of an exploding planet. "Tachyon flux forbidden by treaty," bellowed the Ryelian Ethics Committee in bold red capitals. The bureaucratic responses were predictably unhelpful. Form 9926 required for appeals. Note: appeals require 7 to 9 business cycles and 300 galactic credits processing fee. The final message came directly from Officer Blort, now Chief Enforcement Officer: "Vortex, we know what you're planning. Don't." It included a poorly animated emoji of a stern alien wagging its finger. Mia muted the transmissions. "Nobody fills out Form 9926 correctly anyway," she muttered, finalizing coordinates for the accelerator. The form's microscopic print was legendary: Page 7 alone required listing all interactions with xenobiological entities, in reverse chronological order, including incidents where you may have accidentally hummed within their auditory range. Her security system pinged. 5 black hovercrafts bearing the Galactic Wildlife Commission insignia approached through the clouds. 15 minutes, by her calculations. She pulled out a worn photograph, the only image she had of Glimmer, slightly blurry from her parents' old holo camera. "I'm coming, buddy," she whispered, pressing it to her lips before tucking it away. The air crackled with static electricity as the chronastic field generator hummed to life. Small objects around the lab began floating, pens, paper clips, a half-empty coffee mug, caught in the gravity-disrupting field. The space before her workstation shimmered, air folding like invisible origami. Warning klaxons blared from 3 different safety systems, each detecting different laws of physics being violated. A flash of blue-white light temporarily blinded her. When her vision cleared, Glimmer stood there. No longer kitten-sized, but the height of a small pony, wings half-extended, scales gleaming under the laboratory lights. Its spines formed an impressive crown of pink-tipped protrusions that captured and reflected illumination in hypnotic patterns. Mia gasped, tasting the metallic afterburn of chronastic particles. Glimmer's amber eyes locked with hers, and the creature chirped softly, a sound she hadn't heard in 20 years but recognized instantly. One wing hung at an odd angle, clearly injured, the membrane torn near the shoulder. For a moment, neither moved. 20 years of planning and yearning condensed into this single frozen instant. Then Glimmer tilted its head exactly as it had done as a hatchling when curious, and the spell broke. Mia rushed forward, stopping just short of touching. "You remember me?" she whispered. In response, Glimmer extended its uninjured wing, the tip gently brushing her cheek. The contact sent a spark of static electricity between them, and with it, a rush of emotion so powerful that tears filled Mia's eyes. Behind them, the laboratory doors buckled inward as enforcement officers applied door-dissolving spray, a viscous green substance that smelled like overripe bananas and ate through metal within seconds. The awakening. Citizen Vortex. Retrieval of endangered species is a Class 7 violation. Officer Blort's voice echoed through the lab, amplified by his vocal enhancer. Mia activated her wrist-mounted shield, which promptly malfunctioned and released a shower of harmless sparkles. "Great," she muttered, ducking into the maintenance tunnels with Glimmer. Shouldn't have bought the discount model. The tunnels were dimly lit by emergency strips casting everything in eerie blue. Behind them, enforcement boots clanged with regulation heaviness. "Keeper Mia," Glimmer's voice resonated in her mind. Multiple hostiles approaching. Threat assessment, moderate to annoying. Recommendation, alternative exit strategy. Working on it, Mia panted, consulting her memorized map. Parking garage, 3 junctions ahead. They emerged into the cavernous garage filled with vehicles ranging from research hovercars to luxury spacecraft. Mia's ancient hoverbike looked particularly unimpressive next to a gleaming Martian skyrocket. She fumbled for her ignition chip, fingers brushing against something small and smooth, Glimmer's first shed scale, preserved in clear resin as a keychain since she was 8. The scale glowed faintly, resonating with the adult Glimmer beside her. An idea formed. "Hey," she whispered, holding up the scale. "Remember how you used to heal yourself? I kept this for exactly this kind of emergency." Glimmer's amber eyes widened with recognition. It gently pressed its snout against the preserved scale, and bioluminescent patterns intensified across its injured wing. The scale grew warm, then hot, forcing Mia to drop it. Instead of falling, it hung suspended between them, spinning slowly as it emitted pulsing light matching Glimmer's glowing spines. Connection established, Glimmer communicated, its mental voice taking on a formal, ceremonial quality. Guardian Keeper link regenerating. Chronastic imprint recognized. Initiating full restoration protocol. Halt. Step away from the Dragonoid entity. Blort emerged from the tunnel, his green-gray skin flushed purple with exertion, uniform rumpled and splattered with door-dissolving solution still eating microscopic holes in the fabric. Behind him, enforcement officers fanned out, immobilizer guns raised. Blord had changed little in 20 years, antenna perhaps droopier, middle eye bloodshot from filing reports, but his pedantic dedication to regulations remained robust. "Miss Vortex," he wheezed, "your persistent violations have finally caught up with you." He consulted his device, unauthorized chronastic manipulation, illegal reunification, operating without permits, creative interpretation of safety guidelines, and, he paused, 27 unpaid parking citations. He stopped mid-sentence as Glimmer's wings began glowing with increasing intensity, light pulsing outward in waves that distorted the air. Officers shifted nervously, immobilizer guns wavering as self-preservation battled training. The preserved scale dissolved into particles of light swirling around Glimmer's form. The garage filled with high-pitched humming that made fillings vibrate and communication devices emit bursts of static mixed with love songs from distant radio stations. Glimmer grew before their eyes, wings expanding to span the garage width, spines elongating into crystalline structures refracting light in impossible patterns. The revelation. Blort dropped his immobilizer gun, which clattered and discharged, freezing one subordinate in an undignified pose. That's not in the manual," he stammered, antennae pressed flat against his head. Glimmer let out a harmonious trill that reverberated through the concrete structure, causing parked vehicles to shudder and activate their alarms. The enforcement squad broke ranks, scrambling for cover behind support pillars. Mia stood transfixed as Glimmer's transformation completed. Her little hatchling had become a magnificent being of light and crystalline scales, radiating gentle but unmistakable power. The creature had tripled in size, yet space itself seemed to politely make room. "Citizens of the United Galaxies," Glimmer spoke, its voice no longer confined to Mia's mind but audible to all, a melodious blend of chimes and whispers that everyone understood regardless of species. "I am not your specimen. I am not your endangered species. I am the last guardian of the chronastic rifts, sent to this dimension as an egg to mature among beings capable of compassion." Its amber eyes shifted to Mia, growing both softer and more intense. "This human did not create me. She recognized me. She protected me. Now I shall return the favor." With a graceful wing motion, Glimmer generated swirling energy that lifted both itself and Mia from the ground. Their forms began to shimmer as reality rippled around them like a disturbed pond. Across the galaxy, beings were riveted to their communication devices as the scene broadcast on every frequency, interrupting shows and debates. Religious leaders declared it either the end of days or enlightenment's beginning. Gambling establishments were overwhelmed with bets on what would happen next. Words emerged from Mia's memory, the old nursery rhyme she'd sung to Glimmer during thunderstorms. "Come here, little starbird, your wing is fragile. I'll cut it off for you, little dragonling." The ancient phrase echoed in Glimmer's resonant voice, but now Mia understood its true meaning. Not a threat, but recognition between guardian and keeper. The first line invited the wounded to seek help, the second acknowledged vulnerability without judgment, the third promised healing through intervention, the fourth reminded both of their true nature beyond physical form. "The calling phrase has been spoken," Glimmer explained. "It exists across all timelines, finding its way into stories of potential keepers. Your mother carried the potential, but you fulfilled it." Knowledge flowed into Mia's mind, the true history of the Guardians, their purpose in maintaining reality's balance, why they chose certain beings as keepers. She saw the pattern of rifts spreading across the cosmos, tears in existence's fabric slowly widening unnoticed. "The nursery rhyme," she whispered, "pieces connecting. How did my mother know?" "Your mother carried the potential," Glimmer replied, "but it was you who fulfilled it." The creature's form shifted, scales rippling with mathematical expressions of cosmic constants. "The time has come to begin our work. The rifts grow wider each day." Around them, enforcement officers had begun taking selfies, professionalism forgotten. Several were composing social media posts that would violate their non-disclosure agreements. Hashtag Dragon Girl and hashtag Alien Glowup were trending across 17 planets. Blord alone maintained official behavior, though his stern expression was undermined by his cap having transformed into a small singing plant. The journey begins. Where do we go now? Mia asked, placing her hand on Glimmer's shimmering scales, suddenly aware their reunion had irrevocably altered her life's course. Everywhere, Glimmer replied, amber eyes twinkling with mischief and ancient wisdom. The chronastic rifts need healing, and who better to assist than the human who recognized a guardian disguised as a pet? With a gentle wing motion, Glimmer created a portal of swirling light and color, a window to somewhere beyond. Besides, it added with what could only be described as a draconic smile, I've been monitoring your social feeds. Your life could use some adventure. Mia glanced back at the chaos they were leaving, officers alternating between awe and confusion, vehicles wailing alarms, Blord frantically contacting headquarters while trying to silence the singing plant that had replaced his cap. What about them? She asked. Won't they come after us? Glimmer made a sound like laughter. They can try. Chronastic travel isn't covered by their jurisdiction or benefits package. The portal pulsed invitingly, its edges rippling with possibilities. The phrase you spoke, it's more than code, it's a promise. I protect the rifts, you protect me. Together we keep reality from unraveling. No pressure, Mia muttered, but she was smiling. She took one last look at the laboratory where she'd spent years planning this moment, at the officers who tried to prevent it, at the ordinary life she was leaving behind. Then she turned to the portal, to Glimmer, to the extraordinary future awaiting. Before Blord could complete emergency paperwork requesting backup, Form 62D, Unexpected Cosmic Event Intervention Request, requiring signatures in triplicate and a blood sample, Mia and Glimmer stepped through the portal, leaving only a faint scent of cinnamon and ozone. At Galactic Wildlife Commission headquarters, an emergency session addressed what media called the Starbird Incident. After 16 hours of heated debate, it was classified under Anomalous Events, Appendix Z, improper forms filed in triplicate. Blord, despite protests about the one that got away, was reassigned to an outer rim desk job, accompanied only by the singing plant that steadfastly refused to transform back. The laboratory was sealed for investigation, then converted into a gift shop selling plush Glimmer replicas and t-shirts reading, "My friend broke chronastic protocol and all I got was this lousy shirt." The chronastic particle accelerator was disassembled, its components distributed to 17 research facilities, none of which could make them work without Mia's specific brand of creative scientific interpretation. And somewhere beyond conventional spacetime, a woman and her dragon soared through rifts between dimensions, healing cosmic wounds and occasionally sending confusing postcards to Mia's parents. Weather is non-applicable. Wish you were here, but also then. Chronastic rifts healing nicely. Don't worry about the paradox in the kitchen, it'll clean itself up next Tuesday, before it happens. Across the universe, billions of beings who'd watched the viral footage whispered the nursery rhyme to their younglings at bedtime, never quite sure if they were summoning a guardian or simply telling a good story. Linguists noted the phrase always translated perfectly, maintaining both rhythm and seemingly contradictory message of healing through separation. Bureaucrats added new questions to standard forms. Have you ever accidentally or intentionally recited ancient nursery rhymes to beings of unclear origin? If yes, please list all resulting reality distortions in order of increasing improbability. If you ever see a shooting star with a peculiar blue-green tail and pink sparkles, it might just be them passing through your corner of reality. Just don't fill out Form 9926 to report it, nobody gets it right the first time anyway. In the end, sometimes the most important connections transcend time, space, and bureaucratic red tape. Sometimes a promise made by an 8-year-old girl to a creature no bigger than a kitten can reshape the very fabric of reality. And sometimes, the universe itself conspires to reunite friends who were always meant to heal the cosmos together. Mia and Glimmer's adventures had only just begun, but their bond, forged in childhood wonder and strengthened by decades of determination, would prove unbreakable across all dimensions. Together, they would mend the rifts that threatened existence itself, one cosmic wound at a time, guided by an ancient nursery rhyme that was never really about dragons at all, but about the power of love to transcend any barrier the universe might place between kindred souls. The end.